I think 25 is really one of the most fabulous ages. I had a great job, I had great friends, I felt really on top of the world, living on my own, doing really well, and something happened.
The doctors always told me that I should get screened early, 10 years earlier than my mother. So when I was 30, I went for my first mammogram.
I've been living with metastatic breast cancer for the last 8 years. When I found out that it was breast cancer, my first thought was, okay, I want to get the biggest surgery. It wasn't even a thought. I'm gonna live.
I was raised by a working mom, a teacher, so I was brought up really never to stop learning, and that knowledge was power. I watched my mother get sick at a very young age. Cancer was ripping through our family, but my great-grandmother and my grandmother beat it, and my mother did not. She was diagnosed at 39 and she died when she was only 44. That's what's so tough about BRCA, because it tears through families.
When I found out I had metastatic cancer, my boys were 9 and 10 years old. Metastatic cancer is a chronic illness that's treatable, not curable. The fears were not being here for things like bar mitzvahs. Who's going to take care of them like I would take care of them? Who was going to know them like I was going to know them?
I was a single woman who hadn't begun living her life, hadn't met the man of my dreams, hadn't had children yet, and I had a lot of living to do.
I didn't know if I was going to get married. I didn't know if I was going to have children. I didn't know if I was going to look okay. I didn't know how awful everything was going to be.
When I speak to other people, they understand that I have cancer. But because I look good and I am acting healthy, it's hard to understand that there's an illness behind that. Not everybody understands it. Not everybody wants to talk about it.
I had close friends. It didn't even occur to me to call them up. I couldn't say it. How could I possibly explain to them that I was just diagnosed with an illness that I wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be? It was just an incredibly, incredibly lonely feeling. Like the entire world just stopped.
I thought, well, I've got to get in touch with somebody because I can't do this on my own. I need help. I first found out about Sharsheret by seeing a flyer at my local Jewish community center, and I called them up and they told me all about all the different things that they have about the survivorship kit. They let me know about a group that helps women with metastatic breast cancer, which is what I was looking for.
I wasn't ready. I don't think I was ready to make that phone call. So my mom made the phone call first, and then I got a phone call, and that changed the entire thing. Because all of a sudden, somebody was on the other end of the phone who completely and totally got it.
So to get on the telephone and listen to other voices of people talking about it was amazing. It was a home.
That's what Sharsheret is. It's that person out there who's been through it and is going to tell you everything you need to know.
If I have a thought about something, about financial issues or getting a new wig or getting a new cap or something, I go on the website. I love the fact that I get the emails about people, doing marathons and people, living their lives. It feels that I'm not so alone because there are so many people connected to Sharsheret.
For me specifically, Sharsheret was there at so many different stages of this experience. You could be diagnosed yesterday, you could be diagnosed 5 years ago, but they're always there and they're always available, and it's always appropriate to call.
1 in 40 Ashkenazi Jewish men and women will get the BRCA1 or 2 mutation. So it's out here, but we have to keep talking about it so that we continue to do more about it. With BRCA, the trick is knowing when to take action. It's not such an easy thing to do as like pick up the phone and call Cousin Aline and say, hello, did you have your genetic test? I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but you really ought to watch out for that ovarian thing. It's kind of dicey, so some people have issues with that. Sharsheret can kind of smooth that over a little bit.
This organization is at the forefront of the support, of the educational aspect of it, and explaining to the public what they can do to protect themselves and to keep themselves healthy.
It's easier to get the test, it's more affordable, there's more women out there getting the test, but are they getting the counseling they need? Are they asking the right questions? Are they really drawing out that family tree where they know which cousin to call, and the cousin that really doesn't believe in doctors, and the great aunt that doesn't want to get tested? And it helps to have an organization if you'll allow them in and they're there with the information. I caught it 9 years earlier than my mother. I was already that much more proactive than my mother and that much more empowered with information.
I knew that I had my friends in my community for a social reason, and I knew I had Sharsheret for metastatic cancer.
This summer, I was reaching out because my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I went from being a survivor to the daughter of somebody fighting cancer, which rocked my entire world. Without Sharsheret, I would have just been totally alone.
So every time there's been a turn in the road in my life, I've called Sharsheret to say, okay, this is what's happening today.
I think if Sharsheret wasn't around, people would really miss out, They just wouldn't have that network to turn to. They just wouldn't have that voice to kind of advise them along the way and to tell them, you're not alone. You're not alone.
I've lived in 4 or 5 different states at this point, but wherever I am, I know that Sharsheret is there. I can access any program I need from them.
And what I love about Sharsheret, it's the chain, right? So it's women helping women. It's women talking to women.
For a really long time, I would not associate with anything breast cancer related, but I decided one year to walk with Team Sharsheret at the Breast Cancer Walk in Manhattan. And I walked just feeling the incredible love and support.
I'm a 2-time survivor, and I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. I am a reporter at Channel 7 Eyewitness News, BRCA1 positive, and very positive about my future.
Everything I think you go through in life, as long as you're getting through it, you're surviving. And I do feel that I've been able to thrive through metastatic cancer. I've accomplished a lot. And I don't think I could have done that unless someplace like Sharsheret existed. I know I'm going to fall, but I know I'm going to be raised up.
I'm a mom, and I have so many questions about how to talk to my daughters, and I know that I can call the people at Sharsheret and they will link me up with somebody who I can talk to.
There's a lot of women like me with daughters growing up. When are they going to be tested? What are we going to do with that information? When should they have their first mammogram? If I went for my first mammogram at 30, when's my daughter going to go? I support Sharsheret because as my children get older, my daughters, I want them to know that there are organizations like that around for them. Sharsheret will be there. Sharsheret will be there to guide them. Sharsheret will be there to give them information. And that's precious and powerful.
Sharsheret is here not just for me. Sharsheret is here for my boys and for my whole family.
People need to support Sharsheret because they are doing incredible work for individuals, for families, for communities.
It's about communicating with people like yourself and feeling that community. Because in that community, that's where the answers are. That's where the support is. That's where the protection for our children and our grandchildren is.
Where my journey goes, so does Sharsheret.